Everyone, thanks for watching. If you haven't yet liked or subscribed to this channel, please do so. It's very easy. Just hit the subscribe button right down there. Hit the little bell notification so whenever I do a new video, you'll get an alert on your phone or computer. I wanted to talk about averaging down today. I think I've done a video on it already, so I'm not going to go into the full in-depth what it is, but the real quick is if you buy a stock in a company at say $10 a share and it drops to $5, you average down by purchasing more shares at the lower price. If it's a good company, a blue chip company that maybe has just gotten beaten up for some unfortunate reason, a scandal, some sort of crisis on the news or whatever, and it's down way lower than you think it should be, but you're holding it because maybe they pay a dividend, maybe it's one of your long-term holds. It's not a risky stock. It's not a penny stock. It's not something very risky where you buy it at 10 and it drops to 9 and you cut your losses. It might be one of your stocks that you buy with the intention of holding forever. If you are in a stock like that, in other words, if it's a penny stock and it drops, you cut it, you sell it, you lose your little bit of money, 10%, 5%, whatever, and you ignore it. If it's one of your blue chip stocks, something you really like, and you have it at 10 and it drops to 5, the strategy is to buy a little bit more. One way to do it is to buy the equal amounts, right? You bought 100 shares at 10, 100 shares at 5. It averages out your total price, your break-even price would be $7.50 a share. And that works because you have several options. One option is to sell it at $7.50. Your $250 gain offsets your $250 loss and you break even. Your second option would be to sell the block of shares that you bought at 10, only losing now $250 and holding on to the block that you bought at $7.50. I will put the link below because it's very important. You want to be able to edit your cost basis. In other words, you have to, after you make the sale that night or the following morning, you have to go in and edit and say, sell the position that I bought at 10, not the position I bought at $7.50, or vice versa, however you want to do it. The strategy for averaging down, pretty consistent. There's also something called dollar cost averaging, which means that what you would be doing is buying the same dollar amount every month. First of the month, 15th of the month, whatever day you choose, $50, $50, $50, another 3 shares, another 3 shares, whatever it is, whether it's a dollar amount or a share amount, 1 share a month, 2 shares a month, whatever amount. But in these times, as we're heading into a full-blown coronavirus recession, I have a third averaging down option for you that I think you might like even more. I'm so happy because I'm seeing a lot of my friends who missed out on the 2008 recession. I was kind of one of them. I bought a couple of things, but I didn't have enough money saved up in 2008 to go full-on crazy like I wanted to. I also didn't have the confidence. I also didn't have the knowledge back then that I have today. Now I'm sitting here on a lot of cash and I'm literally just waiting for this coronavirus to hit the full bottom. Remember, we're only 16 days into it. We're only 16 days into this crisis. We haven't yet seen earnings. We haven't yet seen unemployment. We haven't yet seen any of these things. So when reporters come out on CNBC or CNN or whatever, and they say, the panic selling is over, the fear selling is over, I'm not so sure I believe that. The thing that makes me happy is my friends are now writing saying, hey, I'm interested in buying some stock. Is now a good time to start? And my answer is always no. Now is not a good time because we're only at the beginning. Let's just see where this thing goes. Let's see how bad this gets first before we start planning on what we're going to be buying. But it is a smart idea to assemble a wish list. I have my own personal wish list. I'm not going to share it with you because I am not a licensed broker or financial advisor. I am not allowed to tell you what to buy or anything like that. So I'm not going to share my list, but it's a blue chip list. If you looked at it, you would recognize every single company. It's where you go for your latte. It's where you go when you need a new refrigerator. It's where you go when you have a lot of money saved up and you want to buy an electric vehicle. It's where you go where you want to buy paper towels and have them delivered next day. You get the idea. It's where you go when you want a Big Mac. It's where you go when you take your kid to the amusement park and they get to see all their favorite movie characters. You get the gist. It's even airlines that are going to get extremely killed during this time. So I have my wish list. Assemble your own wish list. The fear is that we're going to miss out on buying opportunities, right? I don't want to miss out. If that's a legit concern of yours, your strategy should be the following. Whatever amount of shares you want ultimately, whether it's 100 or 50 or 25, start buying in small incremental amounts. So I'm buying 25 shares at a time because I foresee this going lower, but I don't know when it's going to hit bottom. So I'm starting with 25 shares. Every time it drops, another 25. Every time it drops, another 25. Until I am at the point where I have my 100 share position, and then, I'm pretty much tapped out unless it really drops a lot lower, which would suck, right? On the one hand, I'm going to have a humongous loss, which I don't really want to have. On the other hand, I don't know when this thing does turn around, right? I don't want to miss the opportunity to get in. And ultimately, 10 years from now, I'm not going to be sitting there going, I bought it at 50 when I could have bought it at 43. I'm going to be saying, I can't believe I bought it at 50. Think of it like that. The other strategy, though, for averaging down is to buy more shares, right? 25 at a time is what I've been recommending. But this idea works better since things are dropping lower and very quickly. The idea would be to start off very small, 10 shares. Oh, it drops another 20%, 15 shares. Oh, it drops another 5%, 20 shares. You understand? So you're adding more shares every time. You're also offsetting, you're lowering your overall average cost considerably because you're buying more and more and more and more as it's going lower and lower and lower. So in the previous example of you buy some at 10, you buy some at 5, same amount, 100 shares, your average price is $7.50. In this example, you would actually need a calculator to figure out what your average price would be if you bought 10 shares at $10, 15 shares at 8, 20 shares at 6, 25 shares at 5. You understand you're buying more shares as it's going lower and lower. That brings your overall cost down considerably. At a certain point, man, if we're lucky, that stock is going to be $3 a share. At that point, you might say, hey, fuck it, and buy 100 shares at that price because it's so low and it's so affordable. Remember, in 2008, Starbucks was under $5 a share. It got all the way up to 99 3 months ago. Now it's in the 50s. Fingers crossed, Starbucks goes lower. I'm not saying it's going to go all the way back down to 5. What if it goes to 20? That's pretty good. So keep that in mind. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't subscribed and liked to the channel, please do so. Hit the bell, hit the little subscribe button down below. Have a nice day and thanks for watching. And stay safe, don't get sick.